Okay, we are live. So we'll just wait for a couple of minutes so that people can join in.
Meanwhile, whoever is here, you all can start shooting your questions in the chat related to CMAT. We have Aakash with us as well. He's a CMAT topper from last year.
So Akash, you can start with this question. Pawan is asking your marks in GK and overall.
Okay, so Pawan, the thing is, last time around we didn't get marks, so we just got percentiles. So as far as I remember, I guess GK I had attempted something like 14 questions, and उसमें से I got 11 or 12 right. इसके आसपास थे. So my strategy was that GK को जो है बस एक more than average score पे ला दो, and then target the other 3 sections. So that's what I had followed.
Yeah,
And,
that's
still.
Yeah, I think Fahad, who is Akash's senior and our batchmate, also had the similar strategy because Akash and Fahad were preparing for MBA entrance exams only. And normally who are strong in GK are people who are preparing for the government exams. So if you're preparing for MBA, just above average GK and CMAT verbal logic quant is easier. Just try to do above average in GK.
And Aakash, just elaborate a bit on how you went about preparing for the GK section.
Okay, so in the end, the thing is, we still have 2 weeks. Exam is on 9th of April. So I still think there is a lot of time for GK left because the thing is, we don't have time to get into a new material, but the material that you've already studied, you can extend on it. So do it by revising it. And another thing that we can do is go a little step further, go much deeper into the questions now. For example, if there is an event which has happened with respect to a famous personality, go ahead and read about that personality as well. What he has done in his life, what are his ideologies, what is his philosophy, where did he visit. I use these tricks for for example, in our case, we had a Swami Vivekananda's question. So there was an event with respect to him. So I had read a little about him. What was his ideologies? Where did he visit in USA? So it's a question I भी गया था exam में. So just go a little deep into what all you are studying now. But the thing is, it just should be like 2 or 3 lines about him. That's it. So the only thing that I can say is don't start with any new material right now because that is not required.
Right. What sources did you use while preparing for the GK section?
Okay. So the thing is, the GK of CMAT matches with those of banking exams. So the thing is, it is more about it is evenly positive now. That is, there will be static as well as current affairs questions. So for current affairs, what I used to do is there used to be some YouTube videos. It consisted of 200 or 300 MCQs per month. So I had compiled somewhere near 500 to 600 MCQs per month starting from Jan 2020 and till February 2021. So it was a collection of somewhere near 6,000, more than 6,000 MCQs. So I just used to revise them again and again. There was no memorization done. It was just about reading it again and again. And for static, I had used a static GK PDF. That was actually a summary of Lucen's GK. So that we can get from any banking website. You can get it from anywhere. It's just that it is a compilation of small pointers of GK, static GK. So in that also, there's no need to read the complete PDF. Like I had done the efficiency analysis as well, that wherein I'm putting more efforts, but I'll get, if I'm getting less outputs out of it, there's no need to read it. So what I've done is I actually kind of skipped a little bit of history and art and culture, because it has a vast portion, and the thing is there will be 2 or 3, maximum 3 or MCQs from it. There's no need to go deep into it.
So how much time did you prepare GK for? Because CMAT is generally not the main exam or the focus of many aspirants. Just before the exam, we'll try to study some GMAT, study the new section, that is innovation and entrepreneurship. So how much time did you spend on GK?
Yeah.
And when did you start on GK specifically?
So CMAT had started its registration for the second time. So that is when I had actually registered. So that happened around last week of Feb. So, and the exam was on 31st of March. So my prep started from last week of Feb. That is, I had so many 1 month for GK. Now, the thing is, in this 1 month, it is not advisable to keep GK for the last 1 month. That is not advisable. It's just that I had only that amount of time. So I went ahead with it. But the thing is, how I used to prepare for this is I used to take breaks from LR, quant, and verbal. And those breaks were the one where I used to target GK. So I used to like, if I'm reading GK for 1 hour in the morning, now when I'm done with the lunch, I'll go down for a walk, and then I'll revise the GK which I've studied for 1 hour in the morning. So this is how the revision used to go ahead. The thing is, again, since I was not memorizing it, I had to give time to read it. So I would say on an account somewhere near 3 or 4 hours of GK I used to do per day, 4 hours.
Okay, 3-4 hours per day for the last 1 month. So if students, aspirants, if you're starting now, probably you'll have to give a little more time, because obviously there's less than a month to go for the CMAT. Also, Aakash, what about mocks for CMAT? How many mocks did you take, and what were your scores in that? Was your performance on the D-Day better than the mocks, or?
Yeah, so I had taken somewhere near 17 or 18 mocks for CMAT. It is too much. The thing is, since I wasn't having time, and this was the first entrance exam that I was giving with respect to MBA, so I went ahead with so many mocks, but there's no need to go ahead with so much. Another thing is regarding the scores. So my scores were somewhere near, I guess, just more than 200. I'm not able to remember it exactly, near 200 range. And the thing is, I was not targeting GK at that point of time. So the thing is, I started with this note that I'll target the 3 sections. Again, I had actually followed Fahad over here because he was there on your channel as well. So I knew his scores as well, that even he has followed the same strategy. In fact, I guess he scored 100 in quant. So that is where I got my inspiration from, that, okay, we can go ahead and use this strategy. And so accordingly, since it was 1 month, even then I was able to crack because I used a perfect strategy accordingly. Should target the 3 other sections.
So guys, I mean, Aakash followed Fahad's strategy and executed it, and now is in JB. So whoever's watching, maybe next year you can say that I followed Aakash's strategy. And CMAT, CMAT, quant, LR, verbal is easier, and as Aakash also said, you can score very high in that, get 100% marks, or maybe 1 wrong, but you can maximize your scores in those sections. And GK, if you can start now, spend 3-4 hours or more, as Akash said, then you have a very good chance to top the CMAT or get a very high rank in the CMAT.
So Pranjal has asked a question. Mock marks are not improving, though attempts are around 85, but correct ones are around 63. So is it what to do now, and is it necessary to attempt all 100 questions? So Aakash.
Okay, so the thing is, there's no need to attend all the 100 questions. Of course, if you are going to attempt 100 questions, you are going to get a little more negative now, because already 8 out of 85 are getting 63 right. So my suggestion would be that first try to minimize the attempts that you are doing. You may surprise yourself that if you are trying to attempt 75 questions, you may go ahead by 68 or 60. If you are attempting 80 questions, you may go ahead with 68, 69, right? So the thing is, just try to reduce your attempts a little now. This is not the, like, out of 85, if you're getting 63 right, that means there is a minus of 22 that is happening. So that shouldn't happen in this case. So I would suggest that just reduce our attempt now. And the thing is, try to see that whether those mistakes are from the same topics or from the same sections. Now, if it is again from the same topic, then go ahead and read that topic. But don't repeat the mistakes, because that will cost you. And CMAT is a high scoring exam, so even a single mistake is going to land your rank lower than expected. Number of static, okay. There's one more question, number of static and current questions. Okay, so see, the thing is, it is said that number of static and current questions are like there's equal weightage, but I don't think so there is, because it will vary according to the years. So it may happen that you may get a more number of current affair questions than static. In our case, there were a little more current affair questions, which actually converted to static, because they were now asking. See, the thing is, as I give an example of Swami Vivekananda, so there was an event regarding him, and then they went ahead and they asked a static question out of it. The event was not about that question, but still they asked a static out of it. The thing is, that question was a current affairs question. So whatever you are reading right now, whatever you have read right now, just go a little deeper. You'll understand that it is just this current affairs questions which are now converted to static ones.
One more question by Pawan. What were your total attempts and your correct questions out of those?
Okay, so total attempts. See, the thing is, I had went in full-fledged mode that I have to attempt all the 25 questions of all the other 3 sections. So 75 attempts from the 3 sections, and from GK I had attempted 14 questions. So that goes on to 89 attempts. Now, out of 89, I think so there were 83 or 82 were correct. That is somewhere it is. But the thing is, we didn't have the score. We didn't get the score. So that is why last year there was it was a little different from the previous ones.
Okay, but yeah, to summarize, 82 to 83, right, out of 89 attempts. Score breakup, if you can estimate by any chance, because again, scores nahi aaye the. So any chance you can estimate sectional if you.
Okay, so I would say that I guess in quant I had 24 correct. In LR, again it was 24 correct. In verbal it was 22 or 23. So, and in GK it was 11. So I think so it was somewhere near 290 or 300, somewhere near that, the score. But the thing is, last year it was a bit tough. The GK section was tougher than the previous ones, and even the other sections were tough. So I think is the scores went down. But you can't expect the same scores to carry the same rank this year, because in Fahad's year the scores were like more than 350 plus. So 350, 360 were the ones which would fetch your rank to get into JP. So the scores may vary. The thing is, you have to adjust yourself according to the question paper that is come.
Right. I mean, same in the CET or any other exam as well. According to last year, you can't check the score versus percentile and everything. Paper difficulty can change. Accordingly, scores can go up or down. So, I mean, accordingly, how the paper comes, you have to solve it. And, if it's easier, then attempt more, maximize your attempts. If it's harder, then be careful about negative marking.
But yeah, historically, the quant, LR, and verbal sections tend to be on the easier side itself as compared to the CET exam. So minimum around 22 attempts for someone who has prepared for even for CET and is just giving CMAT just to experience an exam environment. Around 20 to 23 attempts minimum should not be that much of a problem. Of course, there will be one or two tricky questions in quant or LR. Maybe in quant, there are a couple of topics which you're not prepared for properly. Maybe a PNC question may come, which might be on the tougher side. But on average, the questions are easy. So even those of you who are not prepping for CMAT full-fledged and have not prepared for GK and just giving it for them from an exam environment perspective, you should be able to get around 20 to 23 minimum attempts in each of the three, which is quant, LR, and verbal sections. It's not that difficult.
Aniket asking, does taking more number of mocks help? I mean, you did say it doesn't help, but just a short answer again to clear his doubt, Aakash.
See, the thing is, if you observe that you're not improving, of course, it is not going to help. So don't go ahead with more number of mocks just for the sake of it. Even, I have seen people who have taken just 5 to 6 mocks for CMAT and they have cracked the exam. So numbers doesn't matter over here. The number of mocks doesn't matter. Just that how much you're improving. And it is the analysis, as you say in CET as well, that how you're analyzing the paper, what outcomes you're getting out of it. So that matters over here as well, that what are the mistakes that you're doing and which section is the one that you need to target. So divide sections into subsections, into topics, subtopics, and then analyze that where you're making the mistake again and again. If you're making mistakes in GK, so don't go that hard on yourself, that because GK is unpredictable. But if you're making mistakes in the other three sections, there you can do something about it. For GK, right now, there is no time for you to go hard on yourself that I'm not able to score this much of that. For the other three sections, please do analyze it properly, because that is where it matters more.
Yeah, for GK, I mean, mocks may also, if you're scoring high, there's no guarantee that score will come in the exam because GK is a little luck based. And I mean, like Slumdog Millionaire, just whatever you've read, whatever show you watch, anything can happen in the GK section. So GK mocks, I mean, again, as Aakash says, no analysis required, but other sections, because there is also the CET to come. So do analyze and try to get everything right, because CMAT questions are much easier and you should be getting very high marks in that. Harsh, so Harsh is asking, if I'm an OMS student, do I need to fill the CET form? It is recommended that you fill, that you take both exams, because JB accepted both exams last year. It is likely to accept it this year also. So obviously it is better that you get 2 chances to get a good score and get JBIMS. But it is not necessary. You can just crack CMAT and also get in. How many questions should I guesswork if I attempt around 80 questions? So guesswork in CMAT, Aakash, what do you think?
Okay, see, for you actually need to do some guesswork, but that guess should be a little smart. Now the thing is, it shouldn't be like literally any, mini, miny, mo. You have to understand like what background the question is having, and if you are able to get it down to 2 options out of 4, then you can do some guesswork. I did it for 3 as well, that where I was able to eliminate one, but there was not pure guesswork. It was something that I was trying to analyze again and again, which is the most likely option. It wasn't that, okay, I'm liking A and I'm going ahead with that option. That wasn't the case. So don't do that in CMAT. But the thing is, please be prepared for a smart guesswork, because if you're targeting a top college, you have to do that, especially in GK section. Not in the other 3 ones, but in GK you have to do that, because if you're thinking that you will go ahead and attempt that only that question which you are 100% sure of, you may end up with a lower rank than what you deserved. Because see, this you have to do only when the case is that you are able to attempt 80 questions. If you are not able to attempt those questions with good accuracy, then don't go ahead with this technique. But if you are able to attempt 80 questions with good accuracy, then you can go ahead with this technique. You can do some guesswork. Now, how many you can guess? See, in GK, that depends upon how many questions you are able to get the options down to. For example, if there are 5 questions where you can get the options down to 2 options, so over there you can do that guesswork. But if you're not able to get from 4 to 2, then don't do it. You are going to lose more marks than you're going to earn.
Yeah, so I mean, basically what Aakash is trying to say is you will have to take a chance if you're eliminated options, because is through CMAT the number 1 college is JBIMS and the number 2 college. I mean, there is a huge difference in whichever next college accepts CMAT. So you will have to take your chances and get those top 10, 20 ranks to get into JBIMS, because that's the point of CMAT, and that is why we are telling you guys to take the CMAT, because it is a shot at JBIMS.
Tanmay has asked any idea on the new section of innovation and entrepreneurship. So I think during your time, Aakash, it was an optional section. I think now the rules have changed a bit. So any comment on this section?
So Tanmay, I would say that going ahead with this section, see, this section consists more of business terms, about entrepreneurship terms. So these are those terms that you hear in Shark Tank, right? They explain in between that what debt is, what equity is. And so these kind of questions you can expect over there. Another thing is when you're preparing for the business GK, because CMAT does have those GK where there are mergers, acquisitions happening. So if you are preparing it well, as I said, go a little deeper into the concept. So over there, you will come across new terms. Even those will help you in innovation and entrepreneurship. So over here, it is more about like the entrepreneurship processes. You have to understand what a VC is, the angel investors, and what is funding, how is it done. So these are some terms which you have to understand, the processes behind it. Such questions will be asked in innovation and entrepreneurship. Okay, so there's a question with how we can prepare efficiently for GK in the remaining days. So efficiently means you have to first revise what you have studied. First, be thorough with it. As I said, go a little deeper into that concept. And I won't recommend to start something completely new. If you can add on to what you have read, that will be much better. And focus more on current affairs GK. Don't go for static right now. I don't think so. It is the correct time to go ahead with that. But focus on current affairs and then go into the static part of current affairs. If there's a question regarding it, go ahead and see what the concept is behind the current affair which is happening.
I think what tends to happen with GK preparation is that because GK is so vast and basically there's no finite source of finite content that you have to cover, people tend to get onto this quest of doing as much as they can. But in that process, they forget whatever they've studied before. So I think one thing that you need to ensure is that whatever you're doing, whatever you're prepped, whatever you've done in terms of your GK, your facts, try and revise what you've done. Because there's no point if you're just trying to cover a lot of new things and then forgetting what you've done before. Instead of that, जो पहले ही किया है, जो भी थोड़ा बहुत पढ़ के रखा है, एटलीस्ट पहले वो कंफर्म कर लो whether you remember all of that, whether it is starting GK or current affairs. And only once you're confident that what you've covered, what you've studied by now, that you will remember that on the exam day, then you move on to new topics or you move on to other things that you want to cover in the GK section. Don't just get onto this quest of, because GK is vast, just trying to cover anything and everything under the sun. Don't do that. That won't help you.
And trust me, this helped me for the guesswork as well. That the thing that I was revising those concepts again and again, all those questions, that is where it helped. That is what helped me in guesswork. So that is not a pure guesswork that you will be doing. It's just that whatever you're revising, even that may turn into guesswork over there. So be thorough with what you have studied till now. That is very important.
So I mean, about these two sections, GK and innovation and entrepreneurship, it is important that you should give mocks to get an idea of these two sections before the exam, especially innovation and entrepreneurship. Firstly, you can go through last year's paper. I think there were 2 slots, so you have at least 2 sample sets of questions where you can understand what types of questions are coming. Try to solve them. At TTP, we also have a package where we have CMAT mocks and sectional tests. So in that you have CMAT mocks, which are according to the new pattern, where you will have the innovation and entrepreneurship section. And also in our CMAT sectional test, also these sectional tests are there of GK, innovation and entrepreneurship. So if you are interested, you can contact us, but at least look at the previous year's paper that will be freely available on the internet to get an idea of these sections. Any important topics in quants that you think shouldn't be skipped?
Okay. See, if you're thorough with the 20 questions, okay. Now this time I guess there are 20 questions total in quant. So 15 to 16 questions are the ones which you will get. You would say from common topics, those common topics are from any other entrance exam of MBA. There will be 3 or 4 questions which will be different. Those questions will be from some odd topics which generally are not asked. For example, last year in CET, there were some questions on, I guess, in integration as well, and differentiation, and even on limits. So they may surprise you. You have to expect them to surprise you. So the thing is, now these topics will turn out to be the ones which will decide the fate who is entering into the top colleges. But the thing is, over here, they won't ask these topics in depth. You just need to understand some normal terms regarding it, some general questions regarding it. That's it. No need to go into the depth of such topics. So I would say if you are thorough with 15 or 16 questions, that is the common topics, then go ahead with these topics which came last year in CET, which were different. Those were limits, or I won't say integration or differentiation, but limits, you can do it. Go ahead with some summation questions as well. You have different formulas for summations. Then you can go ahead and look at the different theorems of triangles, then circles as well, mean, median, mode, stats. So these are some topics which generally, like, they are not the common ones in every exam. You may find it in some or not in the other ones. But if you are done with the common topics, then go ahead with these topics.
Yeah, I mean, my answer would be that don't leave any topics of CMAT, because only basic questions come. So at least do formulas and some basic questions, because you want to get the top ranks. That's the only point of giving CMAT. I mean, it is JBIMS or nothing. So do all the topics, at least basic questions, basic formulas, so that you have some idea about the questions, because everyone's target is JBIMS. So I don't think there are more questions. I think we can wrap up. So yeah, thank you guys for joining. Hope this session was helpful, and all the best for CMAT, and hope some of you will crack the exam, get ranks, and we'll see you at JBIMS.
All the best for